Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say about that, actually. You know, because I think that they both ground out in true. And that grounds out in the Darwinian theory. That's at the bottom. So, because the question is, for example, I think, is, look, let me put it this way. You can see what you think of this. So, here's a claim. Our theory about the atomic substructure of material entities is sufficiently accurate so that we can make thermonuclear bombs. Right? Everybody agrees with that, because there they are, thermonuclear bombs. Here's a counter proposition. Our theory about the substructure of reality is so flawed that we will make thermonuclear bombs. Now, you see, so you think, well, yeah, that's not a bad proposition either, so how can both of those be true? Well, here's what it looks to me. It's like, you know that when you parse an entity out of its context, you lose something of the entity. Now, this is something that really plagues psychologists, right? Because psychologists, so, you know, maybe you'll go up to someone and say, I was angry today. And the person says, well, why were you angry? And then you have a little discussion about why you're angry. And you never really worry about whether the person understands what you mean by angry. Because you assume that they've been angry before, and so have you, so you share that. But also, you also assume that the context of the conversation defines the ambivalence of the word sufficiently in that time and place so that it has an actual meaning. That's the context. You know the person, hypothetically, because they wouldn't be telling you that otherwise. You know other people. You understand the language so that when the word angry emerges, someone just doesn't come up and go angry. You know, they put it in a story. And so the meaning of the word angry is confined by the story that's constructed around the word, and that's confined by your relationship, and the relationship is confined by the culture that you're in, and there's lots of levels of analysis that are going on simultaneously for you to be able to understand what the person means when they talk about being angry. Now, a psychologist will come along and say, oh, anger is a thing. Now, pull it out of its context and then treat it like it's a material entity, and actually that doesn't work very well. I mean, there's lots of things that people discuss in the context of multi-level language that you can't just pull out as an entity. Now, with regards to our understanding of the subatomic realm, well, the problem is that we're parsing out from a very complex reality, a particular form of perception. Now, it's a very powerful form of perception. It's the form of perception that allows us to mess about with things at the subatomic level. But while we're doing that, there's a lot of things that those particles are associated with that we're ignoring. So we narrow our knowledge in some sense by decontextualizing the phenomena. And then we can do things like make atom bombs. But the question is that, what makes you think that the process of decontextualization produces an outcome that's true? Now, you could say pragmatically, well, it's true enough to make atom bombs. It's like, yeah, okay, but it's not true enough not to make them. So it's tricky. It's tricky.